Hello and welcome to Stampin' Around the UK, May 2025, and this month we are doing a monochrome stamping, and I thought it would be nice to have some last use out of the stippled roses stamps and add some accents with gems that I've got in my stash and some paper rolls that I'm going to show you how to make. So first of all, you need a card base, and this is 14.8 by 14.8 square, so it's basically a full sheet of A4 cut down in 14.8 and scored at 14.8, giving you a square card. I've also got a square mat of basic grey, and that is 14.4, and a white mat of 14.2, so it is very tight, but I just wanted a slither of grey poking out just to give the monochrome look. So I'm going to ink up, so I've chosen basic grey for my monochrome look, but you can use any colour that you actually like. Well, I would use a colour I would like, but yeah, as long as you stick to the same colour, that is all good. So what I added to the first one was some leaves around, and I just used these leaves in the grey just to finish that off. And then we have a sentiment, best birthday wishes, which I sort of just stamped across there. So there's no, apart from layering, there's no sort of dimensionals to this card. So if we add our white layer to our grey layer, sometimes it's easier to see this against the white as well, so we can see that we've got an even gap around, and you've got a bit of wriggle room with there. So I hope everybody's Easter went really well. It went really quickly, didn't it? So, and please do note that in the notes below there will be a link to the others that are hopping around on this video hop. Now if I put that there, so I've added some paper rolls to this. So what I'm going to do is show you how I did that. So I cut some strips of the basic grey card to about 4mm, and I have a quilling tool, and this screws into like a changeable pen. I've had this years, so it's got sharp tips, stylus tips, and it's got a couple of these quilling ends. Because it screws in, you've got to be careful that you don't unscrew the thing. You can just use the end of your take my pick tool and just wrap round, but as I've got the quilling tool, I'm going to use that. So if you can see, it's got a slot in the middle, so you just slot your paper on, and then you just twirl the paper, and then you can take it off the tool and let it relax, a little bit before we add some glue to this end, and then we can hold that a little bit while the glue sets. So we've got one roll. See, the problem with rolling the paper, it doesn't like to glue shut. So if you get into this paper rolling, you will eventually want to get yourself a quilling mat, which gives you little indentations to put your rolls, and they hold them at the different sizes whilst your glue sets. So let's just put a piece of white card so you can see the grey card. So let's get this one to unravel a bit more so it's not so tight. Add some glue to there. Just takes a second for the glue to... When I said earlier on it gives you a little bit of wriggle room, sometimes you don't really want the wriggle room on these things, but I just give it a bit more time. And then I'm going to cut one of these in half. And roll this up. And you want to keep it as even, so you want the height and everything exactly the same. And this time we can really pull this out to glue it. And I'm sorry I'm all fingers and thumbs, but I hope you're getting the idea that I'm just gluing and holding that. And I'm going to pinch this one into like a leaf shape. And then I'm going to do another, I'm going to do a tight roll. So and this time if I keep it on the tool, and then the glue, I keep it on the tool and glue it, and then it should be a tight roll. Yeah, just came undone. Oh well, hopefully that's... And what shall we do? I think we'll leave it at that and see what we get on here. So you will need a glue mat. So I've got a silicone mat that's Stampin' Upsell, and I'm going to put some glue on my mat. And this is so we can just scoop our roll and then dab it in the glue, so it's got glue now on that face. And I'm going to start here, and I'm going to do the same with all of them. And let's stick that on there, and then this one I want to try. That's it. I'm going to put that there. And then I'm just going to add some gems. Do I want that there? I'll give it time to move it. Let's put it up there. So we've got them just dotted around this time rather than in a shape. And then we can dot some gems around. I've had these gems for ages, but they're like a neutral, and they are basic grey, what they're called, classic matte dots. So I think they're in the vanilla, white, grey and black. And there we have, and you can leave that glue to dry and then it will just peel off that silicone mat. So that's what is good about the silicone mat. If you haven't got a silicone mat, then obviously use a piece of waste card to apply your glue on. I hope you've enjoyed watching me create a monochrome card and add in a few extra elements of paper rolls. Obviously I need to glue that a bit better. This is where sometimes a few cocktail sticks come handy. To get the glue where you want, and just hold that in place a little bit. No, it doesn't want it. One doesn't want to hold. No, every time I loose it, it just pings off, and we've lost a gem. It really doesn't want to hold. I'm being a bit impatient with it, really. As I say, this is Stampin' around the UK, so I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I'm using Stampin' Up products except for the quilling tool, but I have shown you how to use the piercing tool, or you could try it with anything to try and just curl that strip. The strips are 4mm, the cards are 14.8 with mats of 14.4 and 14.2, and then I've just stamped the stippled rose stamps with basic grey ink, and then I've added the basic grey twill. So it does give the card dimension, and yeah, so you can see that that's what you can create with those quill shapes. It gives the card a little bit of dimension, a bit of texture, so that's all good. And I will see you all next month. Enjoy the sunshine and enjoy the beginning of May, and enjoy the bank holiday that we are due in the UK. And if you could like and maybe subscribe if you like what you see here, that would be lovely. Thanks a lot. Speak to you soon. Bye.